Hi, everybody, and welcome to the post-match reaction where Rangers have defeated Hearts 4-0 in a pretty emphatic victory away at Tynecastle. At the moment, I've got Scott Cameron joining us. How are you doing today, Scott, especially after that result?
Very happy. Rangers are not spoiling our weekend, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And we may or may not have Ross Chalmers joining us from from Tenerife. My understanding is that he's on his way back from the Ibrox Bar to his hotel room to set his laptop up. So yeah, well, he might join us, he might not. We'll see how many pints deep he is as well. But listen, Scott, we'll get straight into it. I think we had a wee talk about this off air before we went on, and we were humming and hawing whether or not to mention it, but I think we will because we both feel quite strong about it. So there must be other supporters, and we'll get into the game straight after it. But it was just the wee banner that the supporters had for Lee Wallace before the match. My own personal point of view, it's great to see the supporters recognising a former Rangers captain this way, but I am quite disappointed that there's been nothing official relating to Lee Wallace retiring. But the banner said Lee Wallace for the badge, not the money. And I think that just about sums him up. I know you talked about him on Wednesday, but it's yeah. If you want to share your thoughts on that again.
Aye, to be honest, credit to the supporters. I'm assuming that the Union Bears heavily involved. Usually they've got a finger on the pulse with these sort of things. So credit to the guys. They do fantastic work. Disappointing. I said on Wednesday night, Rangers should have at least issued some sort of paragraph to thank him. He's one of a captain that led us back to the top division. Rangers are quite happy to advertise a captain's dinner where Lee Wallace is one of the captains, but they're not. They're happy to take the cash for the captain's dinner, but not prepared to recognise the retirement of a good all round pro. So yeah, well played. The Union Bears would be what I would say.
Yeah, 100%. I think we need to see something. I mean, a guy that's plastered on our legends board outside the ground. Some recognition has to be forthcoming from the club. But anyway, that's us and off the soapbox about that issue. We'll get straight into it. Look, Scott, the team lined up with McGregor in goals, Tav at right back, Goldson centre half, Ben Davies, which I was quite surprised to see him starting, but also quite happy at the same time. Something I've been calling for. Barisic back in the squad. Barisic at left back. Jack Lundstrom, Arfield, Matondo, Kent, and Cholak. What was your initial reaction to the lineup, especially having Ben Davies and Rabbi Matondo in the team?
Certainly, I was pleased to see Ben Davies, but I was surprised at the same time, just with the fact that obviously James Sands can't play on Tuesday night. I was hoping that the centre pairing would play both games. Hopefully, that still remains the case. Matondo was I don't think anybody would have picked him in the starting 11. To be honest with you, he wasn't even in the squad the last game before the break, so that was a surprise. Cholak, as much as Morelos has got a fantastic record, Cholak's in great form, scoring goals. Scott Arfield's I'm a big favourite of his. We'll get on to his performance as we speak about the first half. But I like Arfield playing in that sort of pocket as the sort of number 10. So Davies, pleased to see him in. Matondo, I was surprised. But apart from that, pretty much what I expected.
Yeah, that's it exactly. It was I was the exact same. I've been looking forward to seeing Ben Davies play for us. I think it was only a brief 45 minutes that we saw him play in, but I think it was a very good 45. And the only person that can verify and back this up is my girlfriend. I did say to her, she has no clue about football and what's going on, and I was excited when I saw Matondo and that starting lineup because it's a guy. I think if he gets a run of games, I think there is potential for him to be an excellent choice, especially on that the right hand side. But listen, the first major action point of the game came in on 4 minutes, and it's the Cholak goal, Scott. It was a brilliant goal. Cholak actually winning the ball in the midfield, playing that first time pass out to Kent. And it was a great cross. It's what we expect of Ryan Kent with his left foot swinging it into the box, and it was a fantastic header from Big Tony Goals, as he's become affectionately known at this is Ibrox.
Aye, no, listen, it was great centre forward play. I think Super Ali spoke about it in the commentary. Puts it out. cross in, just early cross in, great header. You couldn't ask for a better start. And his goal return has been phenomenal. I think credit, and we'll obviously speak about his second, but brilliant start and just what we wanted.
And hi Ross, how are you doing today?
I'm good, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. What a great result for us. Phenomenal game.
That's it. We were just talking about the first Rangers goal there. My understanding was you're in Tenerife and you were watching at the Ibrox Bar. How was that goal received in the Ibrox Bar in Tenerife?
Nah, it was wild, mate. What an atmosphere. That was probably one of the best places to be actually after an international break, because the atmosphere was so good before the game. I think everyone had kind of forgot about everything that had happened the last couple of weeks, and everyone was just excited for the football to come back. And yeah, everyone went absolutely mental for that goal. I think because it was a wee bit unexpected. I think originally when Kent gathers that ball, you think he's going to drive at the fullback, he's going to drive at Michael Smith, and he doesn't. He just decides to put it on his left foot and swing it in. And it's one of those balls that's in the air for so long, you think, it's not going to go anywhere. And it's just an absolutely tremendous finish from Cholak, which we just come to expect now, to be honest. He really is one of the best finishers we've had in a long time. Really is. He doesn't need a lot, and he will put the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, it went wild in there for that goal. I'm not going to lie about it. Yeah, it was good. Great atmosphere.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it. It's a bar I'm sure a few of us in the This Is Ibrox group chat have all been in at various points over the years. But no, glad to hear you had a good time in there. Listen, Scott, the next point I'll come on to was maybe the sort of around the 10-minute mark. I'm only saying this because it's really the only McGregor save that I can sort of remember happening. The Hearts boy had a shot from outside of the box, but it's just more to talk about. It's a debate that's been going on for all this season between McLaughlin and McGregor, but for me, and I'm not purposefully antagonising here, Ross, but there was a different feel. I just felt that back four just oozed a bit more confidence. It just oozed a bit more composure at times. We just look more comfortable with McGregor in goals. What's your thoughts on
that? Listen, I think he's the best of the keepers we've got. I would have said 1,000 times I would have signed another keeper in the summer, just because it would avoid this weekly conversation about who the best keeper is when he has a bad save or a bad he does whatever keeper it is does something wrong. But I don't know if the international break, what's went on behind in the training grounds, you don't know if there's been a lot of work going on with regard to shape and stuff. I mean, Griggs an experienced goalkeeper. I didn't spot it prior to the match that McLaughlin was on the bench. I genuinely didn't. So obviously Gio's. I'm not saying he's flip-flopped back to Griggsy, but Griggsy's the man in possession. So hopefully he keeps picking up clean sheets and everything's good.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I think that's a great point you raised there as well about us taking the. I think it was evident that we've worked on shape and worked on quite a few things in international break. Ross, the next point, about 20-minute mark, Arfield has a chance. He chose to shoot here when he possibly should have passed it to Ryan Kent here. It wasn't the first time. He had a couple of things like that. During the first half, what was your overall thoughts in Arfield and his decision making, and in particular in that first half?
Yeah, well, it wasn't great, to be honest. I was quite frustrated in that bar with Arfield, to be honest, in the first half. I've had a couple of drinks today because obviously I'm on holiday and things like that, and I genuinely think I could have executed a few of those passes a wee bit better than Arfield. He's not the only one, by the way. I don't think you've mentioned it, but the Ryan Jack chance just before that, where he's driving through at goal and he actually plays it to Arfield and the pass is overrun. I think this is something that we've come to expect from this team sometimes. We feel that they just don't kill games off. And I think the game could have been killed in the first 20 minutes, to be honest with you. I think Hearts started really well. We're pressing us high, but they were giving us a few chances. So yeah, I was disappointed with that with Arfield because I just felt that Kent hasn't been great lately. Okay, he's got his goal today and we'll talk about that. Absolutely wasn't about that, but he's not been great in front of goal. And I don't know if that maybe comes into it. He's maybe just thinking, listen, I've got a chance here on my own. I'll maybe strike with my left foot and I'll try and put it at the bottom corner. He's probably made the wrong decision. I think that creates a wee bit of anxiety amongst the fans just because of where we are right now with the team. But yeah, that was a wee bit disappointing from Arfield. But listen, Arfield, and maybe his passing was a wee bit off today, but he ran his socks off, to be honest. He was flying into challenges. And you need players like that in your team, don't you? Especially away at Tynecastle.
Yeah, I always find it hard to be critical at Arfield. At times I do question some of his decision making, but it's what you get off the ball. It's his work rate off the ball, and it never fails to amaze me how many chances he gets and how many touches he actually gets on in the end of the box. But listen, speaking of touches in the box, Scott, the next point, 30-minute mark, it was a great ball from Ben Davies. It was kind of the something that we're quite accustomed to Connor Goldson doing, just launching a 60, 70-yard ball. It was almost pinpoint to Matondo. What a great touch it was. And then to have the awareness to cut in inside is an excellent angled run by Cholak and a fantastic through ball. And what a finish by Cholak against I think there's an argument that Craig Gordon's up there with being the best keeper in the country at the moment. Great finish, wasn't it?
Beautiful goal. I love going back to the centre defence pair, and I like a right foot and a left foot, and I do like the balance, and that's obviously that shows up because if you're playing Sands, they're not going to be able to play that sort of pass. So brilliant. I had just slaughtered Rabbi Matondo in the group chat at that precise moment, as often happens, but. There's clearly a player in there. I think he's a bit raw, but with regard to that, he's drove brilliant run and big Cholak, great finish, 2-0 up, half an hour gone. You can't, the game should have been out of sight, but 2-0 was fantastic at that point.
Yeah, and Ross, your thoughts on this goal? Do you think this is the kind of football that Gio's trying to get Rangers to play with the sort of passing and the movement off the ball? I mean, is this what? Do you expect more of this from Rangers going forward?
I think so. I expect more of this. I think you've seen today. I think the Ben Davies and Matondo coming in just gave the team a wee bit of freshness today, a wee bit more energy. I thought Ben Davies done really well actually the 45 minutes. I think there was one time where he stepped out and he gave the ball away and he committed a foul, but other than that, looked really composed in possession, really good playing through the lines, and I think that's what we've been missing. I think when you play Sands in that position, of course he's not a left centre back, so his natural instinct is to cut back on his right foot, and you kind of lose that momentum pushing forward. Ben Davies was really good stepping forward today. Like you said, that ball to Matondo kills it dead. I really like this from Matondo because I think you've seen his best last season when he played off the left. We brought him in, I think, to play off the right. And his natural instinct, I think, when he's on the right, is probably to go down the line. But he cuts inside here. He does really well and beats his man. And I think maybe a few weeks ago, Matondo would have just kept running inside there and he might have just taken a shot. But he's played a nice through ball with his right foot through to Cholak. Great movement from Cholak again, to be honest. He was great with that all day. And it's not an easy finish, by the way. The amount of times I watched that back in the TV in that bar, I was like, that's a difficult, because when you've got Craig Gordon coming and closing the angles, he is a top goalkeeper, Craig Gordon, really good. I know 4 goals past him today, but that doesn't do him a disservice or anything. He's a top goalkeeper, Craig Gordon, and he comes and he spreads, and Cholak just managed to get the ball by him, and it's a great goal. It's a great goal, and we've been crying out for a striker like this for a long time, just because we know that, you know, you can once you get a couple of goals against these teams, it does kill their momentum. Because like I said before, Hearts started really well. They did start really well. And that goal from Cholak originally just kills the momentum. And again, 30 minutes kills it again. And the game was done, in my opinion, at that point.
Yeah. Well, that's it. At least we know what the Croatian word for boy does now, and that is Cholak, isn't it? So, there we go. Ross, I'll just stick with you in this next point as well. It's on the, I can't read my notes here. It's either 35 or 38 minutes, but the Devlin red card. I actually got a pal who's, what will I say? He's got Hearts-leaning tendencies, and he said that was never a red card. What game he was watching, I'm not too sure, but there was no attempt to play the ball, and it's just straight through the back of the man and down the back of the ankle as well. I think the referee got that decision right. Yeah,
he gets that decision right. It's funny you say that. I actually have a Hearts pal as well, and he's in my group chat, and I put it in straight after that, basically saying, you know, I felt it was unnecessary. You know, you're 2-0 down, the ball's on the touchline. It doesn't matter where the ball goes, you're not going to get a chance from it. It was just an unnecessary challenge from Devlin. I can kind of understand what he's trying to do, to be fair. I think he's going in to put his foot down and try and shield the ball out, but he's just got it completely wrong. And if you do get it completely wrong and you scrape down someone's ankle like that, it's a red card. I might be speaking out of turn here. Maybe Hearts fans would maybe disagree with me, but that's the kind of impression I get from Cammy Devlin. It's the kind of player he is. He is quite like that. He's sharp in the challenges, and of course you do need some players like that. But I think that's the best way I can sum it up. It was unnecessary. You're 2-0 down. It's just a weird decision to make. What I will say from our perspective on that, I love the reaction from our players. Now I know sometimes people think, oh, it's not sportsmanlike. Van Bronckhorst goes mental, the players go mental. And listen, of course you want a referee to stand up in those situations and just, clear head make the decision. But sometimes that is what you need to get the decision you're looking for. And they ultimately put pressure on the referee and he gets a red card out. But to be honest, I think it is a red card. It's a clear red card. I wouldn't be able to argue that if, Ryan Jack had made that challenge. So, yeah, right decision for me.
Yeah, I think we've even just had the confirmation from Shug of this parish in the YouTube chat that even Nielsen's saying it was a red card. So anybody that's doubting it, there's no question about it. It's not even controversial, but I'm sure there's a certain football highlight show later on that we'll try and make it into, but I'll move on from that. Right, Scott, the next action point here was a wee bit of a head scratcher for me, this one, because I'm still trying to figure out what, you know exactly what I'm going to say without even saying it, was about 46 minutes, it was a great ball into the box with Barisic, and from what I could see, Craig Gordon just clattered into Rabbi Matondo. The ball sort of popped out loose, and it was a really good finish from Arfield straight into the net. This was ruled off for disallowed. Not sure why. What was your thoughts on this goal, Scott?
No idea. I was actually the half that Scotty Arfield had. I half expected him to stick it past the post, to be honest with you. But I have there's no a foul there at any point. Matondo's no foul. It's just the goalie's made an arse of it. That's he's went over the top of Matondo. The ball's broke and Scotty sticks it away. If VAR's in place, and John Robertson spoke about it in the studio at half time, that's the type of decision that you might drop points at some points. Say like Hearts come back into the game second half, the Hearts aren't down to 10 men, but this is the crazy thing about VAR not coming in until halfway through the season. Stupid decisions like this. But I have no idea what the referee, but he's a referee. He definitely, I think somebody said in our chat that he definitely struts about the gym looking at himself in the mirror. Honestly, one of the worst referees out there.
Yeah, well, take your pick, I think, in Scottish football at this moment in time, Scott. Look, I'll stick with you. We'll go into half time. There was a couple of changes made. Ben Davies came off. Sands went on. Ryan Jack came off for Stephen Davis. I think that was just kind of, I'm not sure about the Ben Davies one, but Ryan Jack very much looked injured. And then the sort of next points of my notes that I've got are just about, I was really impressed by some of Rangers' play at this point. Okay, 2-0 up at half time, Hearts down to 10 men. But I just thought for the first sort of 15 minutes of that second half, there was a couple of chances in there. I seem to remember one with a Lundstrom shot that was deflected off a Cholak. Ryan Kent had a wee chance in there as well, but it was just really good play in and around their box. We just seemed to be completely smothering them at this point. And I mean, were you quite happy from the response from Rangers after half time, Scott?
I was wanting a third goal. I've seen the movie too many times. We make it difficult for ourselves. Stephen Davis obviously came on and he was playing further forward, which was he was picking up a lot of good positions. I do hope that Ben Davis was a precautionary withdrawal with regard to Tuesday night. Obviously saving himself for Mo Salah. But I just wanted to get the third goal, put it to bed. It's a criticism of us that we don't go for the throat sort of thing. We were quite, playing passes, a lot of passes, but we were still, and I think we had a lot of shots on goal, a lot of set pieces, all that sort of stuff. So the I just wanted the third goal a wee bit earlier. That's my only criticism, to be honest.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one, Scott. And Ross, I'll break up into sort of next 15 minutes of the game as well. Round about the 60-minute mark, there was Arfield came off, which I think a sub was. I think we were all sort of saying that was definitely needed. And Cholak came off as well, not through having a bad performance. Obviously, I just think it was more the necessity to give Alfredo some game time. But again, the sort of pick of the bunch and the chances here, there was a couple here. I thought it was a really good bit of play from Tillman in the box. I thought he looked lively when he came on, and it was only for a sort of Andy Halliday glancing header that put it out reach of Matondo, and then from the same sort of move within that, Tav hit the ball at the back post, a Ryan Kent header, which is I think a bit of a collector's item, and I've no idea how Malik Tillman doesn't score at the back post here, but I certainly think that Tillman looked lively when he came on.
Yeah, I think Tillman looked really good when he came on. I think it was the kind of game that you would expect Tillman to look good, where the opposition's down a man and he's got a lot of time and space in the ball, and he is very technical, and I would expect him to flourish in that kind of game, that kind of environment. So yeah, I think he done really well when he came on. Tillman, I thought to be honest with you, the first 15, 20 minutes of that second half, I wasn't thrilled with Rangers. The reason why I wasn't was because I didn't think there was enough control. Hearts were a man down. I would expect us to be a wee bit more front foot, maybe try and kill the game earlier. Of course, you now look at it, it's a 4-0 game, so I'm not going to be too critical here. But at that point of the game, I was kind of a wee bit frustrated. I did think the substitutions helped us, though. I think you made a great point there in terms of we were crying out for a substitution at that point. And I understood the substitutions at half time. I think it's all just about protecting players at that point. Ben Davies was obviously booked and things like that, and Brian Jack had an injury. So, yeah, I think second half was a wee bit weird for me. I didn't think we were great, but it's kind of expected. That you're a man up in your opposition. It's just all about control, and I think that's the way Van Bronckhorst looked at it. He just wanted complete control of this game. And guys like Tillman and Kemp, when they've got space and time, it's difficult to deal with. I felt really bad for that Michael Smith for Hearts today. He was it was an absolute nightmare shift for him, because Barna was just overlapping at every opportunity once that red card came. So yeah, good performance, I think, from Tillman when he came on. And yeah, I think Kent and him worked really well. They linked up really well.
Yeah. I've got absolutely no sympathy for Michael Smith whatsoever. Seeing opposition players getting battered is what we want to see, and he did have a tough time of it today. But Scott, look, the next point, 75 minutes, and it's something that we've been wanting to see again all season. If there was one of two players that you could pick to give a goal to this year, it would be Alfredo Morelos. Another good finish. It was clever ball from Davis into Buffalo from the Buffalo, and Alfie, and then he had a wee flick into Tav with another wee flick in the box back to Alfie, and he's just absolutely smashed it past Craig Gordon. There was no missing that one. Happy that Alfredo Morelos got his goal today.
Absolutely delighted. He's he's my favourite. I'm delighted to see him back. He's got a huge part to play. I really hope he signs a new contract, and we've got him for a good bit longer. But I think there was a lot of frustration went into that shot, and I think he was delighted to that knee slide. We've not seen it for a long time, But beautiful goal. I mean, it's 4 really good goals we've scored today. Yeah. And lovely football with him and Tav, but brilliant. And to be honest with you, Buff could have had a hat-trick. He had another couple of chances on another day. That's my only criticism of him. He gets ones, but he doesn't get 2s and 3s, sort of thing. I think he scored, I think they said in the commentary, 114 goals now, which is a brilliant return. But I would love him to be scoring 2s and 3s. And I was spoiled back in the day with Super Ali getting 35, 40 goals a season and what have you. And that's what you want a Rangers number 9 to be doing. But if we can get Cholak and Morelos scoring 20, 25 goals, then we'll have a successful season. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure you weren't the only person in the Cameron household that was celebrating that goal. I know another wee man that'll be buzzing for that too. And but Ross, how was that goal received in the Ibrox Park?
Wild, just because of who it is. Do you know what I mean? Even when they even when the camera panned to Morelos in the bar when he was on the bench, and the whole place went up. Like, this is the reception he gets is unbelievable, to be honest with you. It's not surprising because of how influential he's been for us, but it's just I'm always surprised by it. You know, he's not scoring a goal or anything. He's just sitting on the bench looking miserable. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's like, "Oh, there he is." So yeah, this was one that everyone went well for. I think it's a typical Morelos finish, isn't it? Where he doesn't have any, he doesn't have a clear idea where he's putting it. He's just going to blast it past the keeper, and he's just going to hope for the best. And it's one of those. He's so close to the goal that Craig Gordon's not really got any chance. I thought the build-up play for this goal was really good as well. It was really patient from us. I think at that point, Hearts were kind of on their last legs. They were struggling to cover the ground, and Rangers were really good. The build-up was really patient, and I think it's a flick from, I think it might be Tavernier. I think I might be wrong in that. And he plays it into Morelos, and he blasts it by the keeper. It's a great goal, and yeah, I'm buzzing to see him score, to be honest. I was buzzing to see him celebrate with Cholak when he scored the second as well, because I like that. Yeah. I like I think that's something that we've missed a wee bit. I think we've all felt that Morelos has just been completely sulking this season because he's not playing. But that's fantastic to see that, the guy that's ahead of you at this point scores, and you're so thrilled for him and you're celebrating with him. And that's what we want to see as fans, isn't it? That's what you cry out for. So yeah, all around great goal. And yeah, I'm buzzing to see him score again.
Yeah, no, that's it exactly. Just a couple of things in the comics here. We've got Craig Stewart says he's watching you live in Tenerife, Ross. So I hope there's a wee pint for you back at the Ibrox bar when you're finished here. Shug again is partly stolen my next point. We're going to come on to it here, but it's about the change. Matondo came off in about 75 minutes. Number one, Scott, what was your thoughts on Ravi Matondo's overall performance today? And how do you think that he contributed in terms of getting an assist?
I still think there's more to come. I think a great assist, but I think we'll probably talk about his replacement. I thought his replacement is a bit more direct, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think there's a talented player there in Matondo, but for him to cement that position on the right-hand side moving forward, I think he needs to do more. And that's not being hypercritical. That's just my fair assessment on his performance today. I think he can do more, and we'll talk about the partner on the other side, and the same thing applies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the next point, Shug's slagging me off a bit because I was quite happy to see Sakala coming on. I know he's got his critics and things like that, but for me, I would much rather have him playing than Scott Wright. How do you think Sakala did, Scott, in the last sort of 15 minutes in his wee cameo appearance?
I think I think somebody said to me a few months back, he creates chaos. He doesn't. Sometimes it's a bit like, for those of that vintage, Ted McMinn back in the 80s was that sort of player. His right foot didn't know what the left foot was doing, sort of thing, and he just created chaos, and he was direct. And I think Sakala does that. I fair play to him that he's. I think there's opportunities probably been there for him to go out on loan, but he's stuck at it, and he's just got obviously keep working hard. I think he deserves more chances. I would have him involved before Scott Wright. That's no, I don't think that's. But I do prefer Sakala off the left as well. Yeah. It's very much, I think Ravi Matondo is probably better off the left. Their opportunities on that side might come in the future if Kent doesn't stay longer. But I thought Fashion done okay, and he certainly a good cameo appearance for me.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with that. I think you've hit the nail on the head by saying that he's a bit more direct than anything else we've got. It was very noticeable when he was just absolutely bombing down that right hand wing. But from it looking a bit doom and gloom a couple of weeks ago, I'm quite positive that we've potentially got another option at wing on that right wing. Look, the sort of next action point here and the last action point, I'll come to you in this one, Ross, and it's about the goal that comes on 91 minutes. This was, I think, my favourite goal out of a lot of them, because I love that noise when that ball hits the corner of the net, just like that. But it was a really, really good finish by Ryan Kent. Something that we'd seen him attempt a couple of times today. And what was your thoughts on that goal? And apart from it coming a bit earlier, that's really my only criticism of it.
Yeah, this goal was strange for me because I felt at this point in the Ibrox bar everyone was just comfortable with the win, right? And Ryan Kent has scored, and I was just desperate for him to score today. More because I felt it was a game where he can use it as a confidence builder. You know, Hearts are down to 10 men. If he... I felt like I celebrated that more than the first goal, to be honest, and the game was dead at that point. So I was buzzing about that goal. I think it's really actually good play from Ryan Kent. I know it's like the last minute territory, but you know, Kent cuts back in his right foot and he bends it bottom corner. It's a great finish. So yeah, that was one of those goals where it's kind of in the bar. It's kind of game over. Where I'm absolutely loving it just because I know this guy just needs confidence. You know, we all watch Ryan Kent. The thing I always say about Ryan Kent is and it's probably why I'm not too critical of him, is he doesn't stop wanting the ball. Like, it doesn't matter how many times he takes it and he fails, he'll still want it and he still asks for it. And that's brave. You know, you can hide away if things aren't going for you, but he's the total opposite. He just wants the ball constantly. Keep giving me it. And I think he worked hard enough for it today and he deserved that. So yeah, great goal. I'm buzzing he capped off the victory. You could see probably in his face the relief.
Yeah.
He looked really, really happy to get that goal and everyone surrounded him. And I think, listen, we seen, not to go too off topic, but we've seen it last week in the Premier League or 2 weeks ago with Heung-min Son. He was going through a bit of a poor patch for Tottenham and he scored, and the whole team were over to him. And it does affect players, you know. These guys, they're human. They will read the reaction online. They'll know what's been said. As much as they're probably told not to read it, they will read it. So he'll know that the way he's being judged. And yeah, I was buzzing for him to get that goal. Let's hope he kicks on now, Ryan Kent. He puts the start of the season behind him and we really see the best of him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head with that one in terms of it was really nice to see all the teammates congratulating him. I think you could see Tav, affectionately going raz at some goal. So, Scott, what's your thoughts, and not necessarily the goal, but Kent's contribution to the team as a whole today? I mean, it's a guy he's certainly faced a bit of criticism the last few games. Are you hoping that he just sort of takes this as a bit of confidence booster and kicks on from here?
Listen, a goal and an assist. If he does that every game, and certainly domestically, I don't think anybody's going to. I'm his biggest critic because there's a huge talent in there. Domestically, he should be doing it far more. He's done it in the Europa League run last season. He was fantastic. Put some great performances, particularly against Dortmund. So I just want to see it more from him. Cuts in, and I think as has been said, confidence is a bit. He looks like the type of player that thrives on confidence, and I just hope that he now goes to Liverpool and he's trying to push Trent back the way, sort of thing. I think Trent's no good. I'm not saying we're going to go to Liverpool and we're going to win and all that sort of stuff, but what I want is a Ryan Kent to go down there and show what he's capable of in the division that he wants to play in. I think that's obvious.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's no bigger motivational point in a team that said, we don't think you're good enough for us. Go down and show them. This is your opportunity. Players that leave the Premier League don't get a chance like this very often. So, yeah, I'm hoping he puts in a bit of a performance on Tuesday as well. But look, that about rounds it up. I think we'll sort of just sum up the game, Ross, in terms of your overall thoughts. I'll talk about it briefly in terms of, I thought that was arguably our best performance of the season. I don't really remember Hearts having too many chances. I think defensively we looked quite solid. And I know controversially with you, I think McGregor had a big part to play in that in terms of just being calm, composed at the back. I thought our play was good going forward. Other than scoring more goals, I find it quite hard to be critical overall of the performance today, Ross.
Yeah, I can't be critical of the performance. Really comfortable performance. That's probably the way I would put it. I think we looked comfortable, even though Hearts started well. I think that Cholak goal early killed their momentum, and I think they struggled after that. And I think we took control of the game, and I think that's what Van Bronckhorst wants. I think that's what he wants in every game. He just wants to feel in control of the game. I think that's what you've seen from a Rangers team today. I think at points we maybe struggled with Hearts press. They maybe got on top of us a wee bit too much, in my opinion, and it's maybe something we can work on. I'd like to see us go to these games away from home, especially against opposition you expect to beat, and maybe be a wee bit more front foot. But that's his style, to be honest with you. It's maybe something we need to accept as fans. But yeah, it was all about control for me. You've mentioned McLaughlin and McGregor there. To be honest with you, right, I think McLaughlin should be number one, right? So that I'll just say that right now. But what I do 100% agree with, and that's maybe why my opinion will turn. I do agree the defence did seem more composed today with McGregor behind them. Now I don't know if that's just the mentality of Alan McGregor and he's constantly on everyone and he's just that you need leaders like that in your team. And that's maybe something we don't take into consideration sometimes. We maybe just think of a tactical point of view, I want John McLaughlin and he's going to help us more. But really, sometimes you just need guys in that team that know what it's all about and they're going to drag you through games. And so it's hard for me to argue against that. I felt that as well today. I didn't really feel that we were under any pressure at any point at the back. And I felt Connor Golson and Ben Davies had a good relationship the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult to disagree with you on that. So I'll hold my hands up there. I'm happy for McGregor to be number one going forward. I think he's proved at the last few games that he deserves that chance again. So I'm more than happy to see it. But all round, yeah, good performance. Tynecastle's a tough place to go. I think we need to remember that. I think a lot of us were quietly confident going into this game because we'd had a break. Yeah. And you come back and you feel refreshed and you're ready to go again. I think if this game had came off the back of Dundee United, I think the feeling amongst the fans would have been way more negative than it was today before the game kicked off. I think there would have been a lot of anxiety. So the team have done us proud today. They've went there. It's a tough ground to go to, and yeah, I'm proud of the performance today. It was really good, and that's exactly what we need, isn't it? We've got a good run of fixtures now in the SPFL. It's time to kick on. I'd really put the pressure on Celtic. Really keep, ultimately if they keep winning their games, they're going to be ahead of us, right? But we just need to keep the pressure on. That's what it's all about at this point. Keep the pressure on up until the World Cup, and let's hope that we can get right through this and really keep it going.
Yeah, Scott, I've seen a lot of head nodding there, and sort of general consensus on Twitter seems to be that this is our best performance of the season, and then a lot of stuff seemed to gel. What's your thinking on that? I'm assuming you largely agree with what's been said.
Aye, pretty much. Listen, it is a very hard place to go. I mean, that's us now been to Livingston, Easter Road, across the city, and Tynecastle. Other than having to go to Aberdeen. Not dismissing the rest of the away games that we are going to have to face. We've obviously got Motherwell in a couple of weeks' time. But today it was about, I'd said repeatedly this morning, what happened today would set the tone for the rest of the next 6 weeks leading into the break for the World Cup. We've passed the first test. We now just have to. We've got a free hit at Liverpool and Liverpool back to back. Winning the domestic games, see if we can win all the league games the rest of this month, threes and fours, and pick up 3 points. We'll be in a far better space. We're starting to get players back into the picture. The squad's stronger. You've got Glenn Kamara not making the bench today. There's an international player not involved. And you've still got Roof and Alex Lowry and guys like that still to come in. So I think. Clean sheet, I thought we defended points in the first half when it was still 1-0. Hearts it felt like a lot of corners, a lot of throw-ins, set pieces and stuff. I thought we looked a bit more organised.
Yeah.
I must admit I wasn't panicking quite as. I don't think I'm quite at the stage I'm smoking cigars every time corners and free kicks are coming in, but it certainly seemed, that to me tells me that there's work going on in the training ground, which is what you would hope, because we couldn't get any worse defensively, particularly at set pieces. So a very positive all-round day, and who knows what can happen the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think you've summed that up very nicely there in terms of that's the word. There was a lack of panic. I can think of it, every game that we've had this season, there's been a couple of moments where we were lucky to get away with that. Today, I don't think we had that. But look, the last thing I just need off the two of you is I'll come to you, Scott, and this first is a man of the match, as controversial as this one seems.
Tony Cholak, just purely for two great goals that sets us off, to be honest.
Yeah, and Ross, who was your man of the match?
You know what? Just to be different, right? It was between Antonio Cholak and Ryan Kent. I'm going to go for Ryan Kent. I think overall today, again, could have been a better performance from him, but he gets his goal and he didn't stop. And that's what I want. That's what I want from a winger. I just want them to keep going and keep driving and keep trying to make things happen. So I'm going to give it to Ryan Kent today, just to be different.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. No, I'm gonna stick with Scott. I think it's hard to see anybody past Antonio Cholak. He was outstanding. He's in the team to score goals, and I think that's his third or fourth brace for us this season, and he's proven to be a right important player. But look, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching and listening to us. I'm sure there's a podcast tomorrow going out at 8:00, just summing up talking about today again and any other Rangers news that's coming out. I'm sure that's Craig that's hosting that. We've got our bulletins on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week as well. They're all going out at 7, so just make sure you get us in the usual socials. But thanks everybody for watching, and I'm glad the weekend's off to a good start. With a 4-0 Rangers victory away at Hearts at Tynecastle. Thanks for tuning in and take care, everybody.